They had been married only 6 months, but Vera believed she had found her forever. Oleg was kind, attentive, and their wedding still felt fresh in her memory. Every morning she looked at the ring on her finger and smiled, thinking, "This is how love is supposed to feel." But love, as I have seen many times before, is not always what it seems. I am Madame Grace. Though I have no sight, I see what others cannot, the pain that hides behind a smile, the truth buried under silences, and the paths fate lays before those who seek my guidance. Vera came to me after returning from a business trip 2 days early. She found the house different, not messy, but lived in, subtly disturbed. A bottle of wine open. A second glass, still faintly stained. Rose petals in the sink. A scent of unfamiliar perfume lingering in the air. Her heart knew before her mind could admit it. "He didn't know I would be back early," she told me, her voice barely more than a whisper. "He would have cleaned everything. I wasn't supposed to see it." She slid her wedding ring off and placed it gently in my palm. It was still warm. Still heavy with emotion. I held it to my chest and nodded. "He betrayed you," I said. "But not with just anyone. The one who shares your blood is the one who stains your home." Vera gasped. "My family." "Yes. A cousin. A niece. Someone close." Tears formed in her eyes, but I held up a finger. "He is not lost. Not yet. His heart is confused, his desires twisted by temptation, but the bond you two share is not fully broken." "Then what do I do?" "You will go home. You will wait. And you will watch. The one who comes to you first, uninvited, is the one you seek. When she arrives, place this walnut into her bag or her coat pocket. Leave it there for a short time, then retrieve it. Bring it back to me. Do not, I repeat, do not, confront your husband. If you speak of what you suspect, the bond will snap." She hesitated. "But what if?" "No what ifs, child. Not if you want to save your marriage." Vera returned home in a fog. She tried to distract herself by cleaning, but her mind replayed every detail. The wineglass, the lipstick stain, the still warm plate. Then came the knock. Dina. Her cousin's daughter. Barely in her 20s. Too pretty for her own good. Too confident to know her place. Vera opened the door and saw the girl freeze in surprise. "You're home," Dina said, caught off guard. "Early," Vera replied coolly. "You came to see Oleg?" He said he might be late. I was just, maybe I should come back another time." "No. Come in." It was happening, just as I had told her. Vera played it calm. She offered tea. And when Dina left the room to use the bathroom, Vera did what needed to be done. She slipped the walnut into the side pocket of Dina's purse. When Dina returned, Vera confronted her, not with screaming, not with rage, but with quiet fire. "I know what's going on." Dina laughed. "Do you really? You're trying to destroy my marriage." "I'm not trying. I've already started. And let's be honest, what you two have isn't much to ruin. Your family, Dina. Family doesn't mean anything if he wants me instead." Vera's hands shook, but she stayed silent. She had done what I instructed. The walnut was retrieved and hidden safely in her coat. That night, she didn't say a word to Oleg when he returned, late, of course, smelling of cheap cologne and guilt. But Oleg, perhaps moved by conscience or perhaps caught in his own confusion, broke the silence. "Dina said she came by today." "She did," Vera replied. "I need to tell you something." And then he confessed. Not the whole truth. But enough. Enough for Vera to feel her heart shatter just a little more. "I made a mistake," he said. "I didn't mean to. It just happened. It always just happens, doesn't it?" Vera cried that night, not in front of him, but alone, in their bed. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe he was worth saving. The next day, she brought me the walnut. And what I felt in it chilled me. You gave this to the wrong person, I told her. What? She wasn't the first one who approached you after our meeting, was she? Vera blinked. Thought back. The phone call from her cousin Ivan, Dina's father. He had spoken to her first. He had asked how the trip went, and if she'd made it home safely. He had distracted her, made her forget her instincts. You mean? Yes, I said. Dina is just a pawn. Someone else is playing this game. And you know him well. Her voice trembled. What should I do? Next time, bring me your wedding photo. And until then, trust no one. And so, her path turned darker. But she had chosen to walk it. And I saw what lay ahead. After visiting me, Vera couldn't shake the image from her mind, not just of Dina in her home, but of her cousin Ivan's voice on the phone that day. The one she didn't think mattered. The one who, in hindsight, called a little too soon. Could it be him? The man who once held her hand when she scraped her knee? The man who brought a bottle to every birthday and always made her laugh? That man, destroying her marriage from the shadows? She needed answers. And like so many do when the truth is too frightening to face directly, Vera first tried the route of logic. Diplomacy. Family. She called Ivan and asked to meet. They sat in his cozy office, the walls lined with books and family photos. One of her and Dina from years ago, arms wrapped around each other, laughing. It hurt to see it. Your daughter is seeing my husband, Vera said softly. Ivan didn't flinch. She told me. Still, no reaction. And you're okay with that? She's not a child, Vera, he finally said. And neither is your husband. They're adults. They make their own choices. You don't care that your daughter is breaking up my family? Ivan leaned forward, folded his hands on the desk. Maybe it wasn't so strong to begin with. The slap of that sentence echoed in Vera's chest. She stood. I just thought maybe, since we were family, you might want to help fix what she's doing. I'm not going to interfere, he said. And frankly, I think it's best if you stop calling. Outside, the cold slapped her cheeks harder than his words had. Vera had nowhere to go. Her parents were gone. Her brother lived abroad. And Oleg had already hinted that she should pack her things. That night, she made calls. Old friends, distant cousins. No one had room. No one wanted drama. She was sitting on the edge of a bus bench, scrolling through her phone with numb fingers, when she heard a voice. Need a place to stay? It was Sergei. Sergei, her cousin's business partner. Ivan's right hand. The quiet one who always stood at the back during parties, who had offered her a drink once when no one else noticed she was empty-handed. She didn't know him well, only enough to know he was kind. I overheard your call with Ivan, he said. There's a spare room at my place. If you want. Vera hesitated. Pride wanted to say no. Survival said yes. She said yes. Over the next few days, she moved in with Sergei. The room was small but warm. The sheets smelled of lavender. He respected her space, never asked questions, never hovered. He made tea. Cooked simple dinners. Always asked how her day was, and meant it. She started to feel like herself again. One afternoon, after work, she returned to find flowers in a vase on the kitchen table. You didn't have to do that, she said, blushing. I know, he smiled. But I wanted to. They sat in silence for a moment before Sergei reached out. I know this is hard for you. And I'm not trying to make things more complicated. I just like having you here. Vera looked away. I'm still married. I know. And I'll never pressure you. But you should know, I'm here for you. That night, Oleg called. He wanted to meet. Just to talk, he said. Face to face. Vera agreed. They met in a small cafe where they'd once celebrated their first anniversary. Now the air between them was bitter and still. I was wrong, Oleg said. You think. I mean it. I messed up. I let something happen that shouldn't have. You let it. Oleg, you opened the door, walked her in, and poured the wine. He sighed. I don't know what happened. I thought it was love. Maybe it was just excitement. She made me feel young, wanted. Vera raised an eyebrow. And I didn't. You did. But it faded. We started acting like roommates. You started acting like a coward. Silence. I want to come back, he said. To fix things. If you'll let me. Vera was stunned. Just days ago, he told her to leave. Now, he wanted to erase it all? I need time, she said. And you need to prove you mean it. When she returned to Sergei's apartment, he was waiting with dinner. They ate in silence. At the end of the meal, she finally spoke. Oleg wants me back. Sergei looked down. And what do you want? He asked. I don't know. I think I want to believe people can change. That marriages can be fixed. He nodded. If that's what you want, I'll support you. She reached for his hand. But I also know you've been the only one truly here for me. And I don't know how to thank you for that. You don't need to. The next morning, something strange happened. As Vera was making tea, she saw Sergei talking on the phone, his voice low, urgent. He didn't know she was listening. It's fine, he said. She still doesn't know. Know what? That night, she couldn't sleep. Her mind spun with questions. Who was he talking to? What didn't she know? She thought about returning to me. But something told her to wait. Because sometimes, the truth walks through your front door when you least expect it. The world felt quieter now. It had been 2 months since Vera left Sergei's apartment, and every day felt like stepping out of fog. Her body still remembered the chaos. Sleepless nights, anxious pacing, the sting of betrayal. But her mind had begun to clear. She was working part-time at a local boutique. It wasn't glamorous, but she loved it. Helping women choose outfits, seeing them smile in the mirror, it reminded her of her old dreams. The ones she'd abandoned for love. One evening, as she was closing up, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. Then picked up. Vera. She froze. It was Oleg. What do you want? I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but please, hear me out. Vera said nothing. I messed up. I destroyed everything we had. But I've started therapy. I'm trying to understand why I keep ruining the good things in my life. And I keep coming back to you. She laughed. Quiet and bitter. That's rich. I know. I don't deserve forgiveness. But I had to try. I had to say it. Why now? I saw Ivan. He's in the hospital. Something with his heart. Vera stiffened. And he told me everything. How he pushed Dina toward me. How he manipulated the situation. He said you were right. She sat down. So what? That makes everything okay. No, Oleg whispered. But maybe it helps you understand it wasn't just me. And maybe you'll believe me when I say I really did love you. She hung up. That night, she dreamed of her wedding. Not the real one, but a warped version. Everyone was faceless, and she was trying to scream, but no sound came. She woke up drenched in sweat. The next morning, she visited me again. I'm tired, she said. You've been through a war, I told her. But you're still standing. I don't want to look back anymore. I want to look forward. But I keep wondering, what if? I poured her tea and placed a charm in her palm. You're not cursed, Vera. You were just caught in a web that wasn't yours. What do I do with this? Bury it. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere you won't return. She nodded. Later that day, she traveled to the outskirts of the city. She found a quiet spot beneath an old tree and dug a small hole. She placed the charm inside and covered it with earth. Then she stood in silence, letting the wind brush her cheeks. That night, Sergei called. She didn't answer. The next day, he texted. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have kept the truth from you. But I still mean everything I said. Still, she said nothing. 2 days later, he showed up at the boutique. He didn't speak at first. Just stood there, holding a small box. I thought you might like this, he said. I saw it and thought of you. Inside was a silver charm bracelet. Simple. Elegant. I don't need gifts, Sergei, she said. I know. I wanted to remind you that someone still believes in you. She took the box but didn't open it again that night. Instead, she walked to her window and looked up at the stars. Her phone buzzed again. A message from Dina. Dad's out of the hospital. He's asking about you. Vera deleted the message. She didn't need to revisit that chapter. The following weekend, her boutique hosted a fashion night. Vera styled outfits, helped guests, and felt a joy she hadn't known in years. When one of the models dropped out last minute, she filled in, stepping onto the small stage in a flowing green dress. The crowd applauded. Vera smiled. Afterward, a woman approached her. You're radiant, she said. Do you design? Not yet, Vera replied. But maybe soon. She went home that night and sketched until her hands cramped. New ideas. New beginnings. She thought of Oleg, of Sergei, of Dina, of herself. In the mirror, she barely recognized the woman staring back. This version of her was stronger, wiser, and free. The next morning, she took out the bracelet Sergei had given her. She placed it in a drawer. Maybe one day. But not today. Because today belonged to no one but her. Spring came early that year. Vera stood at her windowsill, watching petals flutter down from the trees lining her street. The light was soft, like the world was apologizing for what it had put her through. She was still living alone, still working at the boutique, and for the first time in a long time, she felt peace. And yet, something lingered. The past didn't knock anymore, but it still whispered. She hadn't spoken to Oleg again after his apology. She hadn't replied to Sergei's last message either. Instead, she had chosen silence. But silence doesn't always mean healing. That weekend, she went back to the village. To the one person who always spoke the truth no matter how painful. To me. I thought I was over it, Vera said, her voice low. But it still hurts. Everything. It's not the wound that's still bleeding, I told her. It's the scar you keep picking at. She nodded. I want to start over. But I'm scared. Scared that I'll make the same mistake. That I'll trust the wrong man. That I'll end up back where I started. You won't, I said. Because now you know yourself. And now you have your story. But what if I end up alone? I smiled. There are worse things than being alone. Like being with someone who makes you feel alone. She was quiet for a while. Then she asked, what if I want love again? What if I want more? Then you must plant new seeds. Not dig in old soil. I handed her a vial of dried rose petals and a slip of parchment. Write down what you want. Not who, not when. Just the kind of love you deserve. Then burn it under the moonlight. That night she did. She sat on her balcony with a candle, the parchment trembling in her hand. She wrote, kindness, patience, truth. A heart that holds, not binds. Then she burned it. Ash swirled into the night air like wishes. 2 weeks passed. One morning at the boutique, a woman burst in, frantic. My daughter's wedding is in 4 days, and our stylist cancelled. Can you help? I'll do my best, Vera said. She spent 3 days coordinating outfits, fixing dresses, calming a stressed-out bride. On the 4th day, the mother invited her to the ceremony. I insist. Come. As a guest. At the reception, Vera stood in the back, smiling at the joy around her. She didn't feel out of place. She didn't feel envious. She just felt ready. She was about to leave when someone tapped her shoulder. "Excuse me," he said. "Are you Vera?" She turned. Tall. Warm eyes. A little awkward. "I'm Alex," he continued. "The groom's cousin. The bride wouldn't stop talking about how you saved the wedding. I just wanted to say thanks." They chatted. About the chaos of weddings. About books. About why no one ever eats the cake. And when she got home that night, she found a message waiting. "It was really nice meeting you. Would you like to get coffee sometime?" She didn't answer right away. She closed her eyes, thought about Oleg, about Sergei, about the woman she used to be. Then she opened them again. And smiled. "I'd like that." A note from Madame Grace. She thought the betrayal was the end. But it was only the beginning. Vera didn't just survive the storm. She walked out of it wiser. Stronger. Ready. Because sometimes, we don't lose love. We find our way back to ourselves. And that, dear ones, is the most powerful magic of all.